Look, I think that former Republican Congress member Joe Walsh said it best on Friday. He wrote, "A reminder, we're going through all of this because Donald Trump was too big of a crybaby to simply accept an election loss. We need to make him cry again in 2024. I'm Ben Meiselas from the MeidasTouch network, and predictably, after the decision was handed down by the Secretary of State of Maine that Donald Trump was disqualified from the ballot in the state of Maine under the 14th Amendment, Section 3, what does Donald Trump do? He goes on his social media platform to engage in stochastic terrorism, to dox her, going back to what Joe Walsh said, because he was too big of a crybaby to accept that he lost the election in 2020. It's just that simple, and because that he and the MAGA movement has now become and has always been a violent, fascistic movement, an anti-American, anti-democracy movement. Here's what Donald Trump posted, and then let me show you how the Secretary of State had to respond and how she discusses the fact that Shauna Bellows is her name, how she's been receiving death threats. And it's a predictable result of Donald Trump's conduct. Here's what Donald Trump posts. He posts a link to the biography of the Maine Department of the Secretary of State so people could see the photograph and information and contact for Shauna Bellows. And at this point, Donald Trump has trained all of his MAGA followers to go after and attack her. And this is a account called Fruit Snacks, which previously posts QAnon stuff that Donald Trump amplifies. He goes, "Meet Shauna Bellows, the newest face of election interference." And then Supreme Meme goes, "Cheating losers," and photoshops these images of Shauna Bellows. And I think that's supposed to be Biden's, just like weird Photoshop stuff. Someone else posts in response to Donald Trump's message, "January 6th was an inside job. Never forget." They all claim it's a Fedsurrection. I mean, it's a deranged movement. They think it's an inside job. The feds were behind it. That's what it was. But it was also peacefully and patriotically. And also, we want to blur the faces of the people in the surveillance footage. But they're feds. Ghostbusters. Stupidest stuff in the world. But this stuff has serious consequences. Look, here is the video of Shauna Bellows. She went on CNN and she explained the types of threats that she is getting. Here, play this clip.
But in the response to your decision, we have seen Trump World attacking you, coming out, sharing photos of you that you've, taken with President Biden. Obviously, we do know you're a Democrat. That's not surprising. But you saw Trump himself sharing on social media ways to contact your office, the information to contact your office. I wonder, given the position that you're in and the decision that you've made, if you have concerns for your safety since making this decision.
I was prepared for the possibility of threats, and I really appreciate law enforcement and the people around me who've been incredibly supportive of my safety and security. My safety and security is important, so is the safety and security of everyone who works with me. And we have received threatening communications. Those are unacceptable. But regardless, my considerations in this proceeding is to adhere to the process. We are a nation of laws. Maine law required me to hold a hearing and issue a decision, and now it goes to the Superior Court, and I will uphold the ruling of the courts. That is the process that we are due. And again, looking at the evidence and the events of January 6th, it was an insurrection because people attacked not only the Capitol, but also that process of the peaceful transfer of power.
It's notable to hear you say that you have gotten threats because of this decision. I mean, how concerning have those threats been to you?
Those threatening communications are truly unacceptable. And I certainly worry about the safety of people that I love, people around me. and people who are charged with protecting me and working alongside me. That being said, we are a nation of laws, and that's what's really important. And so I've been laser focused on that obligation to uphold the Constitution.
Yeah, and I think the important point that Shauna Bellows raises there is that, look, she was doing her job. It's now in the hands of the courts, but she was given a task to determine if under the 14th Amendment, Section 3, Trump was disqualified. It was her decision to make as the Secretary of State in the first instance. And she's like, I understand that this may be an unprecedented decision, but so is the fact that Trump engaged in an insurrection. It's not a tough call to say that what Trump did was indeed an insurrection. But MAGA politicizes everything, and they take their cues from their cult leader, Donald Trump, and we see his moves he repeats the same moves over and over again. Like, take a look at this. I mean, it's predictable. Just create an alternate reality to get MAGA fearful and hateful and divide the American people. That's what's so sinister about this MAGA movement. It's to divide us Americans, to turn Americans against Americans with these lies. So take a look right here. This is what Donald Trump posted back in 2019. Our record economy would crash, just like in 1929, if any of those clowns became president. Well, right now we have a record-breaking stock market. And what does Donald Trump say when it's a record-breaking stock market? It's the same moves, as I said, over and over again. Here's what he posted on Friday. He wrote, "The economy is terrible, and inflation by some accounts is more than 30% over the last 3 years, has totally destroyed the buying power of the consumer. The only thing that is keeping the economy alive is the fumes of what we accomplished during the Trump administration. The stock market is only high because people and institutions believe and expect me to win the presidential election of 2024. If I don't win, it is my prediction that we will have a stock market crash worse than that of 1929, a Great Depression, make America great again." This is someone who, over the Christmas holidays, said that his perceived political opponents should, quote, rot in hell. He says that special counsel Jack Smith should go to hell. By the way, I appreciated President Biden's response to that, which was, there's an expression they say in church sometimes, love your enemies, do good to those who hate you, bless those who curse you, pray for those who mistreat you. It's just because President Biden's just an adult. He's someone to look up to. You know, you could disagree with him on a lot of issues, but that's like a normal, nice thing we expect of leaders, not what Donald Trump is posting. But not only is Donald Trump taking credit for the economy right now, and it's not just the stock market is up, inflation is down. Core PCE inflation is below the point where the Fed previously said they would start cutting interest rates. And the soft landing that nobody thought was possible is happening. We have record job growth in the United States, low unemployment, record low unemployment. Inflation has been brought under control. There's still a lot of work that needs to be done. No one doubts that. But what are the sources of it? Donald Trump added $8 trillion of debt while he was in office. But let me show you this video here. This is Donald Trump from his latest speech, and this is the line he uses to create this alternate reality that the reason that the stock market's doing good now and the economy's doing good now is because of him. I mean, it's so dystopian and so North Korea propaganda. Here, play this clip.
And I heard somebody today say, one of these genius analysts, the stock market's good, the rich get richer, but the stock market's good because they think Trump is going to win the election. And I believe that's true. And whatever good they have right now is the fumes of what we left them. It's coming off the fumes of what we've left them. But the stock market is good because a lot of people think we're going to win the election. So that's an interesting fact. I felt that, but I didn't want to say it. But I think we will say it.
And look, as the economy is on a path to not just recovery, but on a path to soar in 2024, what do MAGA Republicans now have to do? They have to push this alternate reality. So again, think about the two pillars right now of MAGA. What I showed you at the front of the video, the threats, the attacks, the stochastic terrorism, and then create the alternate reality for your cult. Don't let them actually see that America has the top GDP of all G7 nations. Don't let them know that America has the lowest inflation of all G7 nations in the world. Don't let them know that third quarter GDP growth was between 4.9% and 5.2%. Don't let them know, it's record breaking. Don't let them know that the GDP is growing far stronger than it is than when Donald Trump was in office. Don't let them know that, you know how we go drill, baby, drill, drill, baby, drill. Don't let them know that there's actually more domestic drilling under President Biden than under Donald Trump by far. And President Biden can still focus on climate change policies and can focus on combating climate change. But don't let him know that. Instead, let's just create some contrived issues. Let's, for example, say that what was the one? What was the one that was recent? Oh, let's say that apples in Washington, D.C. cost $5. This is what Fox is talking about here. Play this clip.
I bought 2 apples the other day in D.C. Now, I know that's the most expensive place in the world to buy groceries. 2 apples in D.C. were $5.72 for those 2 apples. Now, I don't know when the last time Joe Biden has been grocery shopping, but I suggest that he get out of his little penthouse up there and actually go grocery shopping. My guess, he hadn't grocery shopped in probably 30 plus years.
Okay, let's say that they're taking away your gas stoves, and let's go attack Vice President Harris and her husband, and have kind of a little bit of other subtle hints going on here. Here, play this clip.
But this is just part of a broader problem, Griff. It's not just gas stoves. It's everything from ceiling fans, air conditioning units, even beer. This federal government and this administration want people, the American people, to be dependent on the federal government for everything they do, for any decision that you make. You know, it doesn't matter whether it's health care, what you drive, where you live, or what you put in your home. They want you to look to the federal government for the answers for everything. And that's
okay. Now let's say that this is what they say, because they say that COVID is a hoax. Say that COVID was a hoax. Like, I think we all saw it. COVID's a hoax. They say January 6th was done by the feds. I mean, it's the most outlandish stuff in the world. I mean, here is a representative. Here's a member of Congress on Fox Business saying that Trump being removed from ballots is the new COVID. I don't even know what they're talking. I mean, I think I understand what they're trying to say in their deranged, conspiratorial, dictatorial world. But here, play this clip.
You know, I watched that yesterday, and I made a small statement on social media last night. I've come to the conclusion this is the new COVID for 2024. In 2020, they had us locked down. We couldn't get out and vote. We could do all this absentee voting. Everything was built around fear. So now the new fear, and what the Democrat Party is trying to do here, is to tear Trump down and say he's unqualified to run for this office. That is not their job to determine that. That's we, the voters. And
then remember what they would say in Thanksgiving. They would just lie and say, the turkeys are over $90 now. I mean, I don't know if you're going to buy the most expensive turkey ever, but that's just that. It's not true here. This is former Representative Chaffetz, who's a contributor to Fox. Watch what he has to say here. Play this clip.
I mean, we went to go buy a turkey today. It was $90 for a turkey. The price of stamps is up 32% in the last 4 years. But it's all a choice by Joe Biden. That is what Bidenomics is.
I mean,
and then look, their tactics, they get so confused that, like, in trying to say insurrection, they'll go and say something like this. Here, play this clip.
And Congressman, just a reminder here, President Biden was asked if Trump supported an insurrection last week. Watch this.
And then, of course, when you have that show on Fox, it's called The Five, where you have Jessica Tarlov, who does such a good job on the show. But when she tries to say, look, Joe Biden won, and then what's the response? Well, it's because of suppressing a laptop. And just watch what Jessica says here. Here, play this clip.
Around
2 points down in the averages there. There are a slew of polls, including swing state polls, where he's leading Donald Trump. And frankly, there is this denialism about what the last elections have said. Democrats won in 2020. Joe Biden did that by millions of votes on top of it, and the electoral.
By suppressing a laptop. And
oh my God! You think that Hunter Biden's penis pictures were going to sway this? It's unbelievable. Then this wasn't about penis pictures.
This wasn't
Straight
about penis
ahead.
pictures.
Well, then I don't want to see any more penis pictures or crap.
Well, hopefully we won't. And Hunter Biden's laptop is wrapped up straight ahead.
And then they shout her down. And they shout her down and cut to commercial. Shout her down and cut to commercial. At some point, MAGA cult members, people who are a part of this, just must love being liked. They must just love to be treated like crap. And that's why in these red states, they take away your health care. They suppress education, take away freedoms to make people feel like crap. And just think through their prism of the world. It's Trump engaging in stochastic terrorism and them constantly pumping out this nightmare, attacking America every single day. We're so much better than this, folks. We're so much better than this. That's the message. We have a message of hope in 2024. We have a message of bringing people together in 2024. And we won't be afraid to call these MAGAs out. But we're also going to combat it by making sure that the America that we know and love, one of love, compassion, and democracy, that prevails. I'm Ben Meiselas from the MeidasTouch Network. Hit subscribe. We're on our way to 2 million subscribers thanks to your support.
Hey, Midas Mighty. Love this report? Continue the conversation by following us on Instagram @MeidasTouch to keep up with the most important news of the day. What are you waiting for? Follow us now.